Oh, hi everyone! Welcome back to part 2 of this video series on how to plan a trip. So as I stated in the last video, I break it down in just 3 easy steps. With step 1, you figure out your destination. Step 2, you purchase your tickets through Skiplagged. And now we're on to step 3, booking your stay through Airbnb. And like we planned in the last video, we're going to San Francisco. So in this example, I'm going to show you how I would start looking for stays through Airbnb. Okay, so this is what Airbnb looks like. Up at the top you have your search bar, and then next you have their 3, what Airbnb offers. So on top of vacation rentals, right here for their stays, they have experiences and adventures. I've never used the experiences or adventures, but I've heard really good things about them. So let's just say with San Francisco, we see that there's this really cool cooking experience. So it just kind of helps you into like being a local and the culture of that area, which is really cool. It's not only just cooking, but that's just one of the options. But there's things like photo sessions. I've seen a lot of those. With more like remote areas, there's stargazing stuff. Here in the Colorado Springs, they've got like guided tours, things like that. So anything that's really local to that area, they offer these experiences and these adventures. So that's really cool. But back to the main page. So up here at the top, we'll start off with San Francisco. And then we'll click on stays because that's what we're using it for. And then up at the top, it's going to have all of your filters. So starting from left to right, we'll make sure we put in the right dates. For guests, it'll just be me and Michael. It's not a work trip, so I'm not going to click on that. Under type of place, now there's different options here, but we always choose the entire place because we want to have it to ourselves and it's private. Now there's other options like a private room and a shared room. Keep in mind that those will be cheaper, but they're just a little bit more, to me, like sketchy. So with a private room, just imagine you're at someone's house, like a stranger's house, and then you're just staying in their guest room while they're still at the house. So to me, that's a little weird. But if you feel comfortable, then by all means, go ahead and try it. And then there's a shared room. I guess that's more like a hostel, or even like maybe you're just sleeping on their couch. So I wouldn't suggest using either of these. It's just for like peace of mind and safety. So we always do entire place. Next is going to be price. Up here, it'll tell you the average nightly price. But let's say my budget is only about $190, so I'll just put it at $190. And then under more filters, it's really nice here when you're with a big group because then you can decide, do you need multiple beds or multiple bedrooms, etc. And then you can scroll down here for verified places, which are their Airbnb Plus, and then their Airbnb Lux. I don't know, Lux. With Airbnb Plus, it's just verified as like more modern design, and then Lux is more luxurious, a little bit more high end, but of course those are going to be usually a little bit more expensive. So we don't choose those because we is cheap. And then, but this one, I always select Superhost. Now, whenever you're using Airbnb, you always at least want to make sure they're a Superhost. This badge on their profile picture will help you identify a Superhost from just a regular host. So it says here, recognizing the best in hospitality, the Superhost program celebrates and rewards Airbnb's top-rated and most experienced hosts. So this is nice because you know that they're going to have a 4.8 or above overall rating out of 5, which is really good. And then they've had more than 10 stays, so at least you know, like, okay, they're reliable. Same with response rate. That means they have really good communication, things like that. So just keep that in mind when searching for listings on Airbnb. You always want to get with a superhost. And then under the filters, you can choose certain amenities. Maybe you're staying for a little bit longer or you want to save more money, so you want there to be a kitchen, a washer, dryer. And then a cool thing too is if you're traveling with pets, you can select pets allowed, and then it'll tell you like which listings allow that or not. So yeah, for now, I'm just going to do the superhost. And as you can see on the left side, it's going to have all of the listings with its corresponding location on the map on the right side. So as you're going over the listings on the left, over on the right, the listing will pop up. So just briefly looking over, it seems like we're ranging between like 400 to now 600 is the highest, almost 700 a night. So I'm going to stick in the like 400 range for this. That's where my budget allows. I'll go with the first one. So one thing to keep in mind when you're on the listing page, it'll show the total price here. It'll say the total, but do not be fooled. That is not actually the total price. Once you click on the listing, over on the right-hand side, it'll break down the actual price. So it breaks it down. Yeah, it's $123 per night, but then you've got a service fee, you've got your tax fees, and then luckily this one doesn't have a cleaning fee, but there are other listings that do, and those definitely jack up the price. So just keep this in mind when you're looking, that you want to actually see the breakdown. So now that we're at the full listing, it tells you everything, like what type of space it is. And then you always want to make sure that you read the full details of the listing, because it'll tell you everything from if it has a private entrance, meaning, so like in this case, this is an entire house. It's a studio, I guess like an apartment. So you should have your own private entrance. But there might be other listings like a basement studio where it's okay in the basement, but then the hosts actually live upstairs, or maybe another there's just someone else living upstairs. You want to make sure you have your own private entrance, and that'll be listed here in the details. To me, it just makes it feel a little bit safer, and like I said, it's more private. So every time we've stayed at an Airbnb, I always make sure we have our own private entrance, and that there's no like common areas within our space. And then from there, it'll show you all of your amenities. And then towards the bottom, you always want to make sure you read the reviews. Now, I obviously don't read all of the reviews. Like, look, there's like almost 300 reviews here. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that there's current like reviews. So we're in February. So that means January, okay, December, November. So it's very consistent, right? Like this means that people are constantly staying at this place, and that's good, because then that means it's reliable, and it's obviously worth the money if it has this many people staying there. So that's really good. I might go on to the next page just to read a little bit more. And then from there, I'll go to the host's profile page. I usually like to come here to see if they have any other listings. In this case, they don't, but if they did, they'd be listed here, and I would go through, look at those listings and also read those reviews for, again, consistency, making sure that they're accurate, that they have good reviews for all of their listings. And yeah, so once I've done all of that and the price is within my budget and I like the pictures and the location, then I'll just go ahead and book. Now, if there was something on here that was questionable, but I really still liked this location, or I really liked this listing, I would contact the host and get a little bit more clarification. If they're good hosts, then that means they're going to contact you in a reasonable amount of time. And that's it. Oh no, one more thing that I really like about Airbnb is their saved trips option. So like I said, I always plan trips, whether that's with me and Michael or family and friends. So for example, my entire family went to Hawaii for Christmas, and so me and my sister were in charge of planning this. So I made a saved trips list of all of the locations that we were looking for in Hawaii, and I was able to send this list to my sister. And then once she got the list, she was able to add um, her own favorites that she thought was really cool too. So we were able to look through together on what we thought was the best stay for us. So that's really cool. And they'll also tell you like if that listing is already booked. So that's really helpful as well. And there you go. So that's the Airbnb website. They do also have an app, which is very easy and user friendly. But yeah, me and Michael just love staying at Airbnbs because you really feel like you're immersing yourself into the local area and you just, feel like a local by staying in these type of places. So yeah, there you go. And that's how I use Airbnb to book all of our stays. So hopefully that was helpful for you, and maybe all of the questions you had about Airbnb or maybe the doubts you had, that's all been kind of cleared up because like I said, we haven't had any issues with Airbnb as long as you do the research and look up the reviews, even contact the host if you have questions to see if they are, reliable and have good communication. Then to me, Airbnb is a great resource if you don't want to stay at overpriced hotels. And there you have it, easy peasy. So that's how I like to plan all of our trips. Another really big tip that has helped me and Michael is learning how to pack light. So if you learn how to pack light, you don't have to worry about checking in luggage. You just put your carry-on underneath the seat in front of you or in the overhead compartment, and it just makes everything just a breeze. Like you walk out of the airport so much faster. You don't have to lug around a bunch of stuff. We don't go on long trips to where we have to check in a luggage. For example, when we went to the Philippines back in the summer of 2018, we went for 2 weeks and we didn't even check in a luggage. Either of us didn't check in a luggage. I had a small rolly carry-on and Michael just had his backpack, and it just made everything so much easier, especially with like international trips. We just hopped on the plane, went on to the layovers, and just didn't have to worry about the hassle of checking in a bag. Now for military, even if we were to check in a bag, it's free for us, but for those of you that don't have that convenience, you still have to pay like what, $25, $30 to check in the luggage. Whereas if you were to just have a carry-on, that could be potentially free or a lot cheaper, like half the price. So that's definitely something to think about when you start traveling a lot more. It'll save you time and money. So that concludes my how to plan a trip video series. If you have any questions, please let me know. Or maybe there's a different app out there that's better than Skiplagged or Airbnb. Definitely hit me up and let me know, because I'm always looking for new ways how to plan. And again, I hope this was helpful to you, and I'll see you later.